my name is Caitlin and I am from Oomomo, Markham. Today, I'll be showing you how to draw this really cute and simple drawing using paint markers and regular markers. All the items used in this video can be found in Oomomo. Here are the following materials that you will be needing for this drawing. First is a sketchbook. Second, we'll be needing regular markers. Third is paint markers. You can use any color of your choice for this drawing. Fourth, we'll be needing pencil crayons, a sharpener, as well as an eraser. So here I've laid out all the materials I'll be using. Here I decided to choose the red paint marker. And for the regular markers, I chose a navy blue, black, and the lightest pink. Next, I chose a red pencil crayon and a black pencil crayon. I decided to choose red to match with the red marker, so when I sketch and color over with the red paint marker, you won't be able to see the sketch. Next is an eraser. And lastly is the pencil sharpener. So starting off, we're going to draw a light round circle. This is going to be the head of the drawing. And this is a sketch, so make sure you continue to keep it light throughout. Next, we're drawing a straight line right under that circle. This represents the top part of the raincoat that our character will be wearing. And then now we're going to draw these two lines that are somewhat similar to an upside down U shape. And then we're just going to close it off at the end. Now I'm just adding two lines on top of the top of our raincoat to represent the neck. Now we're going to draw two lines pointing inwards from both sides of the top of the raincoat. Now we're drawing another straight line, not exactly in the middle of the head, but slightly above. And this is just for the rain hat that our character will be wearing. Next, I'll be drawing a curve right throughout the head of the drawing to represent the umbrella. Next, we're going to make one swift line down diagonally for the handle of the umbrella. Now just going in to define the head more, and as well as adding in the hands. So we're just going to do two circles to represent the two hands, and our character will be looking like she's holding onto the handle of the umbrella. Next is drawing in the arms. Here I kind of realized I drew the right side of the arm a little too outwards, so I went in with an eraser just to correct it just a bit and to make it look a little more proportionate. Here I'm just defining the raincoat a little bit more. And as well as adding in the legs. We're going to make two straight lines right under those legs to represent the top of the rain boots. And we're just going to go ahead and draw in the rest of the boots. Here I'm just drawing in some details of the raincoat. And then now I'll be drawing in some ears for our character, some hair, and I'll be going with the pigtail kind of hairstyle for her. And now we're just gonna give our character some eyes and a mouth. And last but not least, we're just gonna add in the details into our umbrella. Just take out my eraser and use the flat side of this eraser and to just lightly erase our sketch to make it lighter so our sketch won't be as visible at the end. This red paint marker. I'd also like to show an example of how to get the marker ready to be used, because when you open it, as you can see, the tip has no ink at all, it's just white. So following the instructions on the marker, put the cap on and just shake. And as you can see, the cap flew right off as I was shaking it, so please be careful when you're shaking this. Make sure the cap is really tightly secured and yeah, keep shaking. As you're done, just take the marker and push it down towards the paper in this up and down motion. This allows the ink to flow down into the nib. And as you can see here, the ink is slowly coming down. So now we're just going to keep going until the whole nib is filled with our blue ink. And there you have it. It's fully covered in the ink. Something I would just like to also note is that please be wary of using paint markers on your sketchbook paper because it could bleed through and you just want to be careful in case you have any drawings behind. Going ahead with the red paint marker, I'm just gonna color in the umbrella first. So how we're gonna do this is by doing an outline. And then sectioning off this outline to make coloring a little easier. I like sectioning big parts of stuff I need to color in because it seems a little less intimidating. Next, we're just gonna outline the hat and color that in as well. We want to avoid coloring in the same spot too much as it may cause too much ink to collect in that area and the page might pill. So try your best to go through each area once or twice. This ink does take time to dry, so once you're done, please leave it alone for maybe 3 to 5 minutes to let the ink really dry up so you can go on top of it with the regular marker. Now that it is dry, we're just gonna take our black regular marker and start outlining and putting in our details. So here I'm just outlining the umbrella. And now I'm just gonna go do that to the rest of the drawing. Taking our lightest pink, we're just gonna color in our character's cheeks to make it more cute. And going back to the black marker, I felt like adding in a little bit more detail. And so I went back in, added some detail on the coat and under the umbrella, and some shading as well. With our navy blue marker, we're just gonna add some raindrops. So all the raindrops are gonna be coming from one direction. And on the umbrella, you can see I've drawn these check mark sort of markings, and this just represents the rain bouncing off the umbrella and on the floor and on the boots. Now I'm just gonna take our black pencil crayon and just color in our character's hair. And there you have it. Our drawing is complete, and I hope you try it out for yourself. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.